Hey kids, it's Graham here at therecordingrevolution.com with the last 5 minutes to a better mix video tutorial. This is number 31. We've done 31 of these in 31 days, and I really hope that these mixing tutorials, if you've checked them out from day one till today, have benefited your mixes, gotten you to think in different ways, and helped you build a philosophy of how to mix and mixing workflow. And today's video is no exception. When you wrap up a mix, especially if you're new to this, part of good mixing is good mixing habits and workflow so that you can continue to knock the mix out of the ballpark next time. Make sure that you save yourself time, save yourself trouble, and ensure that you can repeat some of your success in the future. And one of the things that I like to work with is a mixing template. And what that is for me and for many other people is certain types of tracks and plugin settings and routing perhaps that I will typically use in a mix. And instead of having to recreate those tracks and those settings every single time, I like to import them or work off of an existing template so that things are already going to be sort of in place. Now, this can be as complex as you want it or as simple as you want it, and depending on your DAW, it may look a little different. So since I work in Pro Tools, this video is going to be specific to Pro Tools. Please see this, if you're not a Pro Tools user, as an example of what you can do and should set up, and then go find out how to do that in your DAW and make it happen, because it will save you time. Let me give you an example. Here's a mix that I've completed, okay? And I know there's all these tracks that are irrelevant to a template because I may not use acoustic guitars in the next song. I have no idea what I'm mixing next, but some things I do typically like to use. One is I like to have a drum bus, and I've got a little bit of a compressor here and maybe some saturation plugins on there. Might be a good starting point for drums on another mix. I've got a bass fuzz or distortion track with a nice distortion setting that we looked at that in a previous video. I'll probably implement that in a future mix. I have a great vocal delay that I really like to send vocals to. The setting I already like set up, and a little EQ afterwards to tame some of the echoes. I'll probably use that. And then I have a reverb that was actually pretty nice. Now, again, I don't know if this is going to work in a future mix, but it's worked in a lot of mixes, so I've got a setting that I at least want to start with. And then I have the whole submaster and submix setup, which is the way I like to work in Pro Tools, which is really just my master fader with some tape saturation. So those are the kind of global tracks that I will likely use in a future mix, and those are the ones I want in my template. So what I'm going to do is, this is an actual mix session. I don't want to adjust this because I don't want to lose the work I've done. So my first step is, like we saw in the last video, is save as. And what I'm going to do is save, let's say on my desktop for now, just a mixing template. So now on my desktop, I have a Pro Tools file called mixing template that's identical. Granted, I don't need all these tracks, so what I'm going to do is simply select these tracks and delete them. Yes, I want to delete all 15 tracks and all their playlists. I want to delete all these tracks. And I want to delete even the click track. Okay, so all I'm left with is a drum bus, bass, fuzz, delay, verb, submaster, submix. For me in Pro Tools, this is all I have to do at this point. So in the future, when I open up a new mix, I choose File, Import Session Data. And what that allows you to do is navigate to your mixing template that has all the tracks you want. In this case, I'm just going to pick a different session to give you an example, but if you navigated to your mixing template, you would see any and all tracks in that session, and you would select the ones that you want. And what it's going to do is, once you click OK, it's going to populate your new session with those exact tracks, with their exact plugin settings, and then you already have them built into your session, and all you have to do is route some audio to it and start mixing. It's as simple as that. The idea applies to any DAW. What you want to do is find those features or those commonly used effects, whether it's just saving a setting of a plugin, and do yourself a favor by importing them into a session in the future, or opening up a template to import your audio into to mix in. I hope that is a jumping off point for you as you think about saving yourself time. Find out what your DAW can do. Get the most out of your DAW because every DAW is powerful. And I don't care what you're using, you don't have to use Pro Tools. The idea is don't just use it half-heartedly. Make sure you know everything about that DAW because that will unlock workflow and speed for you so you're not wasting time doing elementary things. You can actually spend your time mixing and creating great music, all right? This is Graham at therecordingrevolution.com with 5 minutes to a better mix. If you've missed any of the other one of these videos, go back and watch them all. They're always there for you. Implement them in your mixes. Use them as a starting point to make better music now.